Luca here at the Kettlebell Club. I'd like to teach you a very effective strength training program called the Workup method. Now in this method, it's useful for anything life throws at you. If you want to take it easy on a certain day, if you want to challenge yourself, or even if you want to test yourself. This method of working up with different weights, with different size kettlebells, it could be bodyweight or barbell, I'll teach you the ins and outs. The Workup method is a highly effective program to build significantly great amounts of strength. I'm going to teach you several ways that you can use it into your training. You can use it as a warm-up in a way to prepare yourself and excite the nervous system ready for your given workout of the day or training session. You can also use it to work up to a challenging work set or several work sets, and I'll explain that in a few seconds. You can also use the Workup method for a test if you want to perform a PR, if you've deloaded and you're ready to see where your new baseline is. So how can you use this as a warm-up? You're gonna start really easy and build up to something that you're currently doing in your training. Let's use an example of the kettlebell press. If you're pressing the 24 kilo for 5 reps and you're doing multiple sets of 5 or ladders up to 5, you're gonna work up to it as a warm-up. And there's several ways to do that. First way is to go a little lighter, and you start with 16 and you're gonna perform just 2 or 3 reps. You see how you feel. Feels good, take a little rest. After a shorter rest, you go up to 20 kilo and you would do 2 or 3 reps as well. Both sides, of course. If that's feeling good, go up to your work weight that you usually use for your sets, and you can perform anywhere between 1 to 3 reps. And that's gonna give you, it's like a self-assessment. How do I feel today? Is this a good day to train? Or am I lacking recovery? If you're short on rest, maybe you need to adjust your training and take a different path. So this way to work your way up to your training weight that is challenging is pretty effective. Another way to work up in a warm-up, if you don't have any other weights as far as kettlebells, if you only have one selection weights, maybe you only have the 24, that's the only one you have at home, you would start to do like a pyramid up or a ladder. So you would start at 1 rep, see how the 24 feels, then you would do 2, and after a brief rest you would do another 3, and maybe after 3 you say, okay, I'm ready for my work set, I'll do 5, and I could get started on my training. That's how to use the Workup method in the warm-up. We use it in a very similar way for our training. The Workup method is really nice if you experience a lot of stress or fatigue, if you lack sleep, or if you haven't had that much recovery for whatever reason, life happens. The Workup method can help you still make progress because you are keeping the weights relatively low at first, and you're resting enough to feel ready for the next set. And you're also exciting your nervous system progressively as the weights increase. So even though the load might increase as you go up in the sets, it might feel the same. The warm-up is meant to be easier, and your training should be medium to hard or challenging, right? Let's take the example of a squat. If I want to work up to a challenging set or a work set of my goblet squat, for example. This would be, of course, if you have multiple kettlebells available, you would have the choice. Or a barbell, you could do that. You would start with a lower weight, and you choose whatever rep you want to work up to. It could be work up to a set of 3, or work up to a set of 5. Now, we call this the top set, or we call them working sets. The working sets is pretty much the ones that count the most, or the ones that are the most challenging. So the ones previously, the one that I used to work up to, they're pretty easy in terms of the challenge. They're not that hard. It's more of a way to assess, what am I ready to do? Am I going to push a little bit heavier this time stay about the same, or where am I going? Right? If I'm working up to a set of 3, I would use a lighter weight, let's say 100 pounds for my front squat, and do a set of 3. And that's pretty easy. Let's say my usual work sets are around 150, right? So I'd add maybe 10 or 15 pounds to the bar, and I'd do another set of 3. I'd add another 10 or 15 pounds to the bar, I'd do another set of 3, and so on and so forth. Here, I may go to 140, and then here I'll assess how this feels. I may go to my usual work set and try 1. If that feels okay, I might increase the weight to 155 or 160 and do my top set of 3, right? And after that, I'd be done my training. So use the same principle for whatever rep range you're trying to achieve. It could be work up to a set of 3, work up to a set of 5, more for strength. You can work up to a set of higher reps, 6, 8, 10, you choose. But keep in mind, if the reps are a little higher, you're still gonna build up more fatigue and more lactic acid. So make sure you rest and recover adequately to make your top set the most challenging one. The last way you could use the workup is for a test. So if you've been training hard for 6 weeks, maybe you took a few lighter days where the sessions were easier and you did this on purpose because you want to test yourself. Before a test, usually have somewhat of a deload. Take it easy for a couple of sessions and you recover and you feel fresh and strong to push hard for your test. To work up to a test, it's pretty easy. Let's say I want to test my military press, overhead press, and I want to try 32 kilos for maybe 1 to 3. My previous best was 1. Now I can see if I could get maybe 2 or 3 or whatever's going to happen, right? I'm going to start really easy. And I'm actually going to start with 16 kilos. And I'm going to do a couple of sets of 3 on each side, right? Really easy. Then after that, I'm going to bump it up to 20 kilos. And I might do 1 set of 3. Then I'm going to go to 24 and do 1 or 2 sets of 2. Then I'm going to go to 28. See how that feels. I might do 1 or 2 sets of 1 or 2 reps. And at this point, I am not maxing out. It's still a workup because I'm working up in the weights and keeping the reps pretty low. I'm keeping the reps in the range where I'm gonna do my test in. I'm aiming for 1 to 3. That's gonna be the reps I'll be keeping for the previous lighter weights, right? This feels pretty good. I know I can do 5 with 28, but I'm keeping it to 1 or 2. Still really easy. Then I'm ready to test my 32. I'm gonna try 1. If 1 goes up, I'll assess, wow, that went up easy. Let me try maybe 2 or 3 on the next set. After you've achieved 1, you've achieved your previous best, you're gonna take an even longer rest. Even 5 minutes or more, and that's totally normal. Fully recover, and after you feel fresh and you're mentally ready, you can psych yourself up, is you do a rep max test. You do as many reps as possible with that 32. And that's how you would test. So there you have it, guys, the workup method. You could use it for a warm-up. You could use it for your training, your work sets. You can also use it for a test. So it's really highly effective to build strength, also muscle and endurance. I really hope you like this way of training. Give it a try. Either you could develop your own program or try a couple weeks like this. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know how it goes. Give me your feedback. Like, share, subscribe to our channel.